Can you hear me now? Because I was a bit struggling to hear you. That's like, perfect. Thank you so much. First thing first, I'm really excited to be here, but I just wanted to say that it's a tiny disappointed having a really rainy day after coming from the London yesterday. But at least you're all stunning today, and thanks for being here. And today we are going to talk about the state of user acquisition and retention. And spoiler alert, there is quite a lot. Let's start from somewhere. Here we go. I'm gonna introduce myself first. I am Mordeniz. I work in AppsFlyer for almost 2 years. Wow, time flies. I have been in the mobile gaming industry for more than 5 years. And as you can see on the page, I'm super lucky to have lots of greatest companies, and I'm so lucky to work with them. We are working at Crazy Labs, Huge, Playtika, and also I'm generally responsible for the gaming companies in AppsFlyer. That's why I manage Dream Games, Peak, Zynga, Fugo, and etc. If there is anyone here who is hesitated about what I'm doing exactly as a customer success manager, I'm a good listener, basically. There is nothing special about my position. My only aim is listening to my clients carefully and understand what their needs and giving the solid advice according to solve their problem. And today agenda, it's going to be huge. That's why I want to start from the UA side, and then we are going to focus on retention. But if you are wondering what we are doing exactly in AppsFlyer, we are basically authority in this field. And we are doing that 100% independent and unbiased. And if you are wondering how big company it is, we have 20 offices over around the world and a 60% global market share. Let's kick the things off on the UA side. As a CSM, it's a kind of occupational disease about to share the background about the presentation. That's why I'm going to share what it's going to be based on. Today, we are going to see more than 120 hyper-casual games inside, which is the in-app ads KPI, basically, as you know, and more than 70 casual games, which has in-app purchase KPIs. Media source types, it's really important to understand how we broken them down throughout the deck. When I refer to ad network, I will refer to ironSource, Unity, AppLovin, Wangle, and etc. Yeah, basically, these are the networks who work with the attribution link. But when I say SRNs, which stands for self-reporting network or social, I'm going to refer Facebook, Google, Apple Search Ads, TikTok. They generally doesn't work with the any attribution link, but we have the seamless API integration and communicate each other. And also the other part is the DSPs, and there are tons of DSPs and the other network, as you know, but the top one will be Liftoff, Moloko, and many more. Let's kick with the iOS casual and the hyper casual state. I love this myth because before the session, I was a bit nervous about how I'm going to start the session, and I put the ATT in my email box. And do you have any guess how many emails I got within the last 1.5 years which has ATT keywords? Do you have any number in your mind? Because I was thinking that it should be around 200 or something, but I have seen I got 785 emails which has this keyword. And you can understand how important it is. ATT negatively impacted the market. You know, it's fair enough, because everyone was scared of Apple first revealed the ATT plans. But you know what happened? It didn't happen something like that. It's going to be great, follow the all graphs with me, because, you know, we, as an AppsFlyer, we are obsessive about the data, and it's going to be a bit complicated. Let's get back to the 2020 May with the pre-ATT time in the blue line. You know, that's the baseline for us. We are seeing a decrease first. It is totally okay because you know it's just Q3 and it's going to normal. And then before the back to the school period, Black Friday, Q4, everyone is a bit nervous about the spending all budget and reserve their money for the Q4 especially. And as it's expected, we are seeing an increase than October, and it's going to the peak at the end of the December. And you know, you are still seeing the effect of the all Q4 campaigns in Q1. And everything was pretty normal, right? And then we are gonna go post-ATT time. You know, in April 2021, ATT released. On the post-ATT side, yeah, market was shaked, and that's why they were thinking that what we are gonna do. That's why we are seeing a decrease, which is unexpected here, but everything get back to the normal soon, because they realize that we need to get the user, because we need to retain the user, we need to do something. We cannot improve our processes just waiting in the nowhere. That's why we have seen the increase. You know, do you remember the meet I said? ATT negatively impacted. But you know what is the number is? Post-ATT, we have seen 14% increase on the non-organic install volumes, which is really important. But you know, everything was going good, and it was the good old days. And right now, we are going to look the purple line, which refers to last 11 months. And we are right now seeing May 2021. Everything was going good till September 2020. That's the beginning of we felt recession. Yeah, that's the keyword for today. ATT was not our nightmare, but inflation and cost of living was our biggest nightmare. Because I don't need to explain it too much. You can see the recession in your rental payment, your car prices, your bill, your broadband deals. Recession are everywhere, and it's so real. And you know, although we have seen 14% increase after post-ATT, we have seen 31% year-over-year decrease on the non-organic install. And it basically shows that ATT was not the problem. The only thing, it was just a nice coincidence, the ATT release and the recession. And the $1 million question, if the money talks as more louder as than before, where is the budget? What we have done? Casual Games has a great example and a great reply for this question. Because you know, right now we are seeing 2020 July, which is the date for the ATT announce. As the marketer, advertiser, everyone in this room was aware of that you need to do something. And that's why you, or many of them, decided to shift their budget. Because SRN always make the people a bit hesitated about what is going on, because there is no attribution link. It's a bit very complicated than the non-SRNs, which are the other networks. That's why after the ATT announcement, we are seeing a huge increase for the ad networks till ATT release. And other side, we are seeing the decrease on the SRNs. You can easily see how SRN and the ad network change place. You know what is this? That's the machine learning. Because every advertiser was thinking that they need to understand how it works. You cannot jump to the sea before have no idea how much the degrees is. That's why they just sniffing the air and understand how is it working, and decided to go with the ad networks. This is basically explain why many of you survive and also sustain the growth. Because nothing changed, everyone grew. None of organic installers still improving. Because they know there was something changing, and they changed their attitude in a positive way. But another interesting thing is, when you look at the July 2020, SRNs made a small comeback by chopping around 10% from the DSPs, but it didn't affect the ad networks a lot. Ad networks is still getting increased, and as an AppsFlyer, we have more than 1,000 ad network integration. I have already talked about the recession, but it's an important graph to understand what happened year over year. You know, that's a baseline with the 100%, and even ATT, as I said to you before, we are seeing increase. Even in the new year, it's a peak as expected, but after recession, everything goes down. If you are wondering the exact number, it's quite interesting. There is a 10% decrease year over year non-organic install for casual. But look at the situation in hyper casual. They were so growing. There is a 5% growth on hyper casual. You know, it's just my assumption because I work with more than 15 or 16 casual and the hyper casual clients. And hyper casual took it as an advantage. They were thinking that, yeah, we are going to the wider audiences and our CPI is a bit lower than the normal. That's why it might be a great timing to get the user. That's why the strategy were totally different for casual and the hyper casual. And then what happened in the half two, which is the toughest time for anyone, we have seen 32% decrease on casual, and there is no way to escape for hyper casual. There were 27% decrease. And I thought it made sense to point out what is the current ATT status right now. If you have no idea about what is the benchmark, because these are the great numbers, you know. Right now you are just seeing the 6 top subgenres for the gaming, and it's generally more than 45%, but the general number is around 35, 40. Gaming is in the top about the ATT current rates. And the hyper casual has the best one. That's another assumption. I don't say that it's 100% fact, but hyper casual is fast. Everything is going on really fast. That's why the player, I'm a really good player for the hyper casual and casual. I love it. And there is no time to think about what's gonna be my next action because I just wanna play. I just wanna see what is next. But if you are going to the casino games, puzzle games, they are thinking that, what's gonna be next? And they are thinking, they are reading what's going on. That's why from my perspective, it totally makes sense to having the more ATT opt-in rate in hyper casual. But if it's not enough for you and you are working in another field, you can just scan the QR code and play with the all metrics in our benchmark dashboard. And it's not just for the only ATT. It's also related to retention rates, retargeting benchmarks, scan index, which platforms works very well the recent time. You can have a look at the latest updates on our benchmark fields. Android, let's kick things off on the Android side where most of us were less bothered than iOS. I know Android sounds more innocent recently. That's another myth I love. iOS budgets will be shifted to Android. You could hear that from anyone, anywhere. And today I have seen lots of familiar faces, and I have lots of friends in the industry. And we had conversation about what's going on there, if they are going to cut the budget. And ATT is scared to people. It's okay, fair enough. But you know what happened? It was not something like that. Let me explain the all graphs to you. We are going to get back to the November 2020 again. We are going to start with the blue lines. We are seeing a increase as it's about to you because you know the trends are kind of similar on Android and iOS side. And the increase on May 2021, it's the ATT release date. And you know that it doesn't affect the industry negatively as we expected. And we are going to the green line, which refers to from 2021 to 2023, 2022, sorry. And the trends are quite similar, you know, we are seeing the same wave, same going on and up and downs. But you know what happened at this point? On May, recession came. I know it's so tough and a bit meaningless to say that's the exact date for the recession, but I remember we started to talk about recession in the last year in the mid of March and April, and advertisers a bit hesitated about using their budget, as I said to you before. That's